was reflecting on some of my client sessions last week in my holistic coaching sessions, where clients were working on releasing and redefining core beliefs and understanding the imprint that they adopted, often at a young age or from society, about something to do with who they are and their self-worth, and then how they live in the world, obviously, and respond and react to things. And I'm not going to discuss the whole concept of core beliefs and imprint right now, but I did want to mention the very interesting aspect that once the imprint is really released, once the imprint energetically, the frequency of the imprint is no longer embedded in our cells, in our frequency, we can still, what I call, live in the shadow of the imprint. We can still have tethers from the imprint that that come back and kind of bother us or annoy us, or we think that we are going backwards and reliving, like going back to old patterns or old habits, and then reliving the imprint again. And again, this level of frustration, of being very hard on oneself, of sort of beating oneself up in terms of self-evaluation, like things like, I can't believe I'm doing that again, you know, why am I in these old patterns? And of course, sometimes if the imprint is not released, if the core frequency of that imprint is still embedded in some way in our core energy, then that in fact may be the case, which is a natural part of the healing process. But when we know we've released it, when our core energy is strong enough, and we've done the personal development work to support that. So we've done the energy work, we've done assessment of lifestyle, we've done the they might say the mindset or the relationship with self aspect of consciousness and awareness and self-empowerment. And we've experienced the relief, the freedom, the security of no longer living in that imprint, and of feeling what it's like to be ourselves, sometimes for the first time. And then when we go through that process, and then we find ourselves repeating, you know, the symptoms, you might say, of the imprint, then we're often living in the shadow of the imprint or dealing with the remaining tethers of the imprint. And what I say to clients is that's okay. That's the spiral of healing. So everything in the universe moves in spirals, and which is why it's a universal symbol. And you can imagine a spiral on its side is a wave going up and upward, like an expanding spiral. And so in the new paradigm of light and healing, we are on an upward spiral of personal development, healing, and evolution. We don't want to talk anymore about being on a downward spiral, because that gives away our power and says that we're sort of out of control. In the old paradigm of the last, I bet say 13,500 years, and when I was a kid, we used to talk about someone on a downward spiral, which really implies that they're not conscious, they're not connected, they're not at all centered, and they're just allowing whatever circumstances to overwhelm and overcome them, and they decline. And so this is an old model. Like, we are done with that. We don't want to go down that road anymore if we want to have our highest and best life and our highest quality life in any circumstance. So if you are at that stage, we're just about to cross the finishing line, where you feel that this has gone on for so long, I'm so fed up with myself. Those are usually the words that come up. I thought I had this resolved, and I felt great. I felt like I had resolved it and returned to my power, and was living it. And some circumstance, some trigger may have sent us into what we thought was a downward spiral, but in fact, we are still on the upward spiral. So when we go in that upward spiral, there's natural variability. There's the wave going up, right? And so the ups and downs, the highs and lows, the peaks and valleys become smaller and smaller and smaller as we evolve, as we grow and heal. It doesn't mean they're not still there, but they're less consequential, or I say inconsequential to who I am, how I feel, and how I live. So stay on track, and know that, as we say, sometimes the darkest hour is before dawn, and you're usually about to cross the finishing line once and for all. When some of those tethers, when the weight of the shadow, is felt again, but then reach out for support, and remember how far you've come, and bring in the tools that you need to get yourself over that finishing line. And of course, I'm here to support you with health, energy, and lasting power. I'm Lady Apona, also Lidia Kaleshnik. And if you'd like to learn more about my Apona healing method and my high performance and wellness coaching, as well as my holistic coaching and energy healing and healing foods, please visit my website, Apona, A-P-O-N-A, healingmethod.com, aponahealingmethod.com, or healthenergycoach.com.